A truly great person doesn't tell everyone around him how great he or she is. They simply let the witness around them testify of their greatness. That's why many people use this argument against Jesus, saying that he never called himself God. Well, Jesus was simply letting his surrounding witnesses testify for him. For example, look at what these two witnesses say. First, we have Asaph from the book of Psalms chapter 50 verse 2 to 3. And it says, God shines in glorious radiance. Our God approaches with the noise of thunder. Here, Asaph is simply describing some attributes of God. Then we have the second witness, which is John from the book of Revelation chapter 1 verse 14 to 15. And it says, and his eyes were bright like flames of fire. His feet were as bright as bronze refined in a furnace. And his voice thundered like mighty ocean waves. So in this particular verse, John saw Jesus in his glorious form. And he started describing the attributes of what he saw. First, he mentions that Jesus has a very bright appearance to his look, and he also mentioned that his voice was like thunder. So we can say that the same attribute Asaph gave about God is the same attribute that John is giving about Jesus. Well, I don't feel like I'm a genius per se, but if the attributes of God is the same thing as the attribute of Jesus, doesn't that mean that Jesus is God? Yes, if you think about it. But it gets to a point where a great person will have to be his own witness to his own greatness, just because the people around him are not acknowledging this. So hear what Jesus said when he was on the cross in John chapter 17 verse 5. Father, he's talking to God, bring me into the glory we shared before the earth began. So Jesus is simply saying that he once shared glory with the Father, and not only that, this was happening before the earth was made. So here he's actually testifying of his greatness. So to be honest, this is enough evidence to tell you that Jesus is actually the greatest of all times.